Good evening and welcome to Haywire Homestead. We are out in the garden. I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update while we're spreading some mulch. We just finished planting the zucchini because I wanted to wait a little bit later on those since we have such a problem with the squash bugs, and I was doing a little bit of research, and sometimes you can kind of combat them by planting a little bit later in your season. So we just planted those. We planted another 2 cucumber plants, transplanted another one, and did our kidney beans. So for the most part, everything is planted. But I'll show you how everything's doing. We're getting some mulch spread. You see my husband in the background. Look, there he is. He's in another video. All right, so we're working on the mulch pile. And just keep bringing it over with the tractor. We've still got quite a bit more out by the driveway. And I'll go ahead and we'll start down here by the tomatoes. A lot of them still aren't looking the greatest. We went ahead and bought some organic tomato tone fertilizer. I believe it's by Espoma. What? Oh, I'm sorry. It's made by Job's Organic. We don't have the Espoma brand. But these are the ones that I did planted the egg under. Look at these things. They look amazing. I need to do a little bit of pruning on them. But they are about ready to be tied up on the cattle panels. They look so much better. And you look at those and then you look at the next one over and they are smaller. Now the rest of these don't look terrible. Oh, the sun's kind of blocking you. But if you look into this next row, these are, a few of these are the same. These are San Marzanos on the front. They don't look too bad. But when you get into the Romas look horrible. We're kind of hoping, giving them a little bit of fertilizer. We've still been getting a decent amount of rain, probably too much for these. We're seriously considering that next year we are going to plant. And then it's weird because up this way, you know, where they're doing a little bit better. But we're seriously considering doing raised beds with them next year. I feel like I'm getting a glare on the camera, but I can't really tell. Again, these are San Marzanos here. I've pruned this one and pruned all the bad leaves off of them. I keep coming and trying to keep, you know, anything that looks yellowed and diseased off of them. These are our peppers. The peppers are actually not doing too bad. And with doing some research, we found out that rabbit manure works really well for the peppers. So I've actually got a container of it that my mom brought over, so I've got to get it out here tomorrow and get it spread around my peppers. But the peppers are doing okay, even though the tomatoes aren't. So that's good. Our green beans, these are I believe it's Kentucky blue bush bean. And that's typically what we plant is the bush beans. We've done pole beans before, and they are great because they grow up and they're very prolific. But my problem is I just don't like the texture. When I process them and I cook, can them, the kids and I don't, the texture is different. So we just don't care for it. We prefer our bush beans. Again, we're still having an issue with something chewing on them, and I haven't quite figured out what it is yet. They're still doing all right, but not quite sure what it is. And it's been raining so much that I haven't really been able to come out and put anything on them. Up this way, we attempted to plant some eggplant by direct sowing it. It did not germinate. We have our watermelon. I've never really had much luck with watermelon. So if anybody has any tips or tricks with it, please let me know. We've got our spicy peppers up here that look like they're still doing pretty good. They haven't yellowed or done anything bad, which I'm really happy about. Right here, we've got some marigolds. This is where we pulled the sweet peas out that didn't do much of anything this spring. And we planted our kidney beans. And honestly, I don't remember what type of, it's a light red kidney bean. The potatoes, Ruth Stout potatoes, guys. Look at this. Look, this is awesome. And they're already, a lot of them are blooming. You can see over here that they are blooming. And we haven't really noticed any trouble yet with any potato bugs. I'm hoping that we don't. I'm just keep on keeping an eye. I come out and try to keep an eye on these and make sure we're not going to come out and get inundated. Because typically, my experience with potato bugs is that you won't see them. And then all of a sudden you get a ton of them. I mean, that's just how it works. This was our second planting of green onions, and we did them in the ground. They're doing okay, but they're not doing really great. But I'll show you the ones that we did in the raised beds, because those are doing fantastic. This is our loofah gourd. It's starting to climb up the trellis quite nicely. And look how nice the wood chips are. My husband's doing a good job. Look, he's down there just working hard while I stand here and yak at you guys. This here is our birdhouse gourd, and it already has a blossom, even though it's not climbed too much. It's starting to grab a hold here, the little tendrils that hold on. I can't wait to get these done. If this does anything, I am so excited. It'll give me a project as they dry over the winter. Here we have our poor little cucumbers. And he just mulched around them a bit. But these are our 2 pickling. And then we've got a muncher cucumber on this side, and I planted another muncher cucumber because only one came up. We'd like to make sure we have plenty of cucumbers. There is our Cherokee Tam pumpkin that we got the seeds from Deep South Homestead, and it looks like it's doing quite nicely. Hopefully it starts to vine out soon. The kids' garden, Alex flung his flower seeds all over this area, so it's kind of hard to tell what's flower and what's not. He does have quite a few sunflowers coming up, and there's their sunflower circle. They started working on mulching their garden. Gabe's got some corn up, his Cushaw pumpkin, and his peanuts even came up. I'm going to help them tomorrow work on weeding a little bit around at least directly around the plants, and see if we can't at least get that upper section where Gabe's stuff is, because it's actually in rows, to help them get a little bit more of a handle on the weed situation. I have weeded these beds, I can't tell you how many times. Look at that lamb's ear. And Gabe absolutely loves this stuff. He thinks it's delicious. This wild amaranth, oh my goodness, it is the bane of my existence. I hate it. But I have never had success growing onions. Look. I have big onions. I am so excited. Y'all, this is awesome. I mean, if I would have known that this would have worked successfully years ago, I would have done it. There's my sweet potatoes. They're all coming up really nice and recovering from their shock of being flung out here. And these are my red onions. And some of these I'm probably going to start pulling a little bit, because we grill red onions and use them all the time. But I don't even think last year we got any onions out of our garden. And this year I'm going to have plenty. Oh, look at that. I guess we forgot to plant that one. Whoops. That was not good. And that's my jelly jar. All right, so the red onions. Oh, there's some better ones down over here. I'll show you. I'd love it if it warmed up a little bit. We've been a little bit on the unusually cool side, and then really, really wet, which has not done us any favors. You see this one? I don't want to disturb it too much, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's beautiful. I'm going to keep an eye out, make sure that these don't start trying to go to seed. As soon as they do start even thinking about it, we'll start popping those little buds off. We have wild carrot and a little bit of regular carrots growing in this bin. There's more sweet potatoes. My uncle got me some more of these big protein tubs, and we'll be placing those in the garden to be able to plant some things. I'm not sure if we'll plant anything in them this year or not. And it looks like I need to get back to work. So somebody else is doing my job.